Alright friends, grab your coffee, tea, breakfast, dinner, snack, cozy blanket, and comfiest pajamas, whatever it is you need to buckle up and relax. This is going to be a long one. Hello friends and welcome to my 20K Q&A. This is a video where I take the time to answer any and all of your questions. Why the 20K Q&A? Quite frankly, the answer is because I like the way the title sounds, but it also gives the opportunity for all of the newer people here to Diva and the Divine to have the chance to answer questions they might have missed because they haven't been following me from the beginning. So this is something I like to do every once in a while or when I hit a major subscribership milestone, just to make sure everybody feels like they know me the way they want to know me and have the opportunity to ask questions that they want to ask. So I took to Facebook, I took to Instagram, and I took to the YouTube community page. I wrote down each and every question that you guys asked when I posted those posts asking for questions, and I'm going to answer every single one of them. So sit tight, hang on, here we go. First question. I really look up to you and I'm getting married in June of 2020. I love how you talk about aspects of your marriage and relationship with your husband, so I was wondering if it was difficult to adjust living with him when you first got married. My fiance and I have been together for 5.5 years, but we've never lived together, so I feel like it will still be a big adjustment for us. This is a great question, and my husband and I, technically speaking, lived together a handful of months before we were married because we moved to North Carolina. We got a 2-bedroom apartment. He stayed in 1 bedroom, I stayed in another, but we cohabitated during, in the common areas of the space. Because simply for like financial purposes, it didn't make sense for him to get an apartment for only a couple of months when we were going to be married that January, and we moved in like July or whatever. And he moved into my apartment like September or something. Like it was a very short period of time. When we got married and when we closed that gap, it wasn't even a matter of us living in the same space, but we dated entirely long distance. So when we met via internet, and our entire dating relationship was visiting each other every 6 to 8 weeks via airplane and having dates on the webcam. So when we moved, it was a big lifestyle change. How did we adjust? I'd actually say we adjusted pretty well. As with any transition like this, it takes a lot of time to get to know your significant other and know his or hers eccentricities, if you will, the habits, the way that they live. And there are things that you are going to have to learn to compromise on. There are things that my husband compromises on. There are things that I compromise on on behalf of my husband. But at the end of the day, the goal is to learn how to cohabitate. Was it easy? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But because what you want is a strong marriage, you need to learn how to live together. Therefore, you have to put in the work to figure out what works. It's a lot of communication, a lot of understanding, and a lot of what could be difficult conversations. But when you approach them with the right attitude, they are a lot less difficult. So be patient with yourselves, take your time, and make sure that you keep an open line of communication always happening, because that will give your fiance and give you the opportunity to feel like it's okay to communicate that you're not getting something you need or you're having a problem with something, and you can discuss ways to a solution, or you discuss whether or not it's something you're just going to have to accept about the other person. But make sure you're always keeping those lines of communication open, and the transition should be, I'm not going to say flawless, I'm not going to say easy, but completely manageable. What is your favorite tradition for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's? Oh, I love the holiday season. I love it. I love it so very much. My favorite tradition as of late in Thanksgiving is actually my sister-in-law's sweet potato casserole. This is a recipe that I first tried, obviously my first Thanksgiving down with my husband's family, and it was, I think, my mother-in-law's mother, who is still alive but has dementia quite badly, so she has absolutely no idea who any of us are, let alone me. I do not exist in her world. But I think this recipe, I could be wrong, but I think this recipe is hers, and my sister-in-law Kristen makes it every year, and it is so good that I actually stole it and started bringing it to the Thanksgiving table at my side of the family's Thanksgiving whenever I'm there, and my family adores it too. It is just so freaking delicious. It is like dessert. It is my favorite thing on the Thanksgiving table each and every year, and thus it is my favorite Thanksgiving tradition. The new tradition, it is a new tradition. This is the second year that Eric, Kristen's boyfriend, and I will actually be doing this. Michael is joining us for the first time this year. You guys may or may not remember Michael from Florida vlogs, but we are doing down in Palm City, there is a turkey trot, and that's an outdoor 5K run or walk on Thanksgiving morning. And my husband and I decided to do it, and Kristen tagged along last time we were in Florida for Thanksgiving, and we're doing it again this year because what was better than getting up in the morning, donating money to a good cause, and getting all of our steps in? A 5K is like 3.1 miles, all of our steps in before Thanksgiving dinner. Nothing. There is nothing better than that. And so it really made us feel great because we are from the Midwest. Being able to be outside in shorts and a tank top, being active in November feels amazing in Florida. So that is our new family tradition, that this will be the second time out of the last 2 opportunities we've had to do it. Christmas, I don't even know. I can't even tell you what my favorite Christmas tradition is because I just love Christmas so much. Christmas music is an absolute must-have for me. In a perfect world, I'm singing at church on Christmas. That is just something that lights my heart on fire, as you guys know. And like, I mean, I love singing praises and leading worship any Sunday. That lights my heart on fire. But on the holidays, it's just extra special. On Christmas and Easter, anytime I get the opportunity to help lead other people, that's amazing. Now, you guys know that I have since left my old church because we moved to Minnesota. Fingers crossed, there is a possibility I'm going to be back on stage, but I don't know for sure. We'll see. Either way, singing and the music and just going to church on Christmas Eve, that's a great tradition. Waking up in the morning and like having a special breakfast and opening presents. I mean, okay, a lot of us, Christian or not, a lot of us celebrate Christmas by opening presents, but it's not just, oh, happy day, we get presents. Like, that's not what it's about, but the act of like, we all sit around each other and this amazing Christmas tree and give each other gifts. And we, in my family, both Eric's side and my side, we take the time to individually watch somebody open a present in a circle, and it takes hours, but it's lovely. And we're all in pajamas, and it's just, oh, this is making me so excited for Christmas. I'm really looking forward to the holiday season. I'm not looking forward to traveling, which I'm doing a lot of. I'm not looking forward to snow, which I will get a lot of, but the holidays are just wonderful. And New Year's traditions, the only tradition we actually have is only on my family's side, and that is appetizers and fondue and things like that for New Year's Eve. We don't actually have any official traditions other than to hang out with people, and we're actually going to be traveling and joining up with Eric's friends for New Year's Eve this year, which is something we've never done before, which is going to be really great, but we don't have any actual traditions. Is there any food that you will not touch for fear that you don't have the willpower to stop? No. There used to be things that I wouldn't buy, and when I'm at the grocery store, I will second guess things. I'll be like, oh, should I grab this bag of candy or should I not? And I will make decisions split second of not buying something to keep the temptation out of the house, but it could be anything. I can get tempted by hummus. I'm not even joking. If I'm craving hummus or if I'm craving a good cheese, like anything can be a trigger for me, which is really unfortunate. But at the same time, I don't eliminate anything from my diet because deprivation is when I start to fail. It's when I start to tell myself I can't have something that becomes the thing that I can't stop thinking about. So nothing is off limits for me, but I do consciously make the choices of what to bring in the house on any given grocery trip, and we only have a couple treats in the house at a time. Was it easy to transition from Weight Watchers to iTrack Bites? Do you miss the meetings/workshops? Yes. It was very easy to transition from WW to iTrack Bites. As you guys know, I use the iTrack Bites app and I use the Carb Conscious plan on the iTrack Bites app, which is the old Weight Watchers Points Plus plan. And the transition was relatively easy for me because Points Plus is what I lost all of my weight on the first time around. I lost almost 60 pounds exclusively on Points Plus. I had that plan down to a science. I was a Weight Watchers leader during that plan. Like, that was my jam. And then they went and changed it and screwed everything up for me. So the hardest part about the transition, I'm not gonna lie, for a while, I was a little bit salty that protein no longer positively impacted the points values, but on the flip side, sugar no longer negatively impacted the points values. So it all depends on what you were looking for, and I was looking for something that would give me more portion control, but also let me have indulgences without completely tanking my week, and Points Plus/Carb Conscious on iTrack Bites is what does that for me. So after I got over the fact that like my protein stuff went up in points values, I embraced the fact that like I could eat real sugar again and not totally get penalized for it, and it all evened itself out, and I'm so much happier now than I ever was on Weight Watchers Freestyle. Have you started your 2020 Power Sheets yet? If so, would you mind sharing some or all of your areas of focus for next year? What are you most looking forward to in 2020? Amazing questions, you guys, amazing questions. So first, no, I have not started my 2020 power sheets yet. I'm this close. I literally almost busted them open to start them this morning, and I'm not joking. For those of you that don't know, Power Sheets is the goal planner that I'm using for 2020. It is the goal planner I've used for several years, and it is my absolute favorite goal planning tool. I have an entire video about it. I will link it up there and in the info box below for you. And a lot of you have jumped on the Power Sheets bandwagon with me this year, and I'm super, super excited to watch us all go through Power Sheets for 2020 together. So while I haven't actually started my power sheets yet, I have started thinking about my goals. And I have 2 goals out of the 8 that are for sure going to be my goals for 2020. And the first one is I'm going to get into the best shape of my life. Now, why am I not saying I'm going to be at goal weight? Because I want it to be broader and yet more specific. The way the power sheets are set up, you set one big goal and then you get 3 mini goals, and then you get action items for each of those mini goals. So my entire goal, my big picture goal for 2020 is get in the best shape of my life, which means I am in straight competition with myself. And then one of my mini goals is going to be to hit goal weight. So I've just tried to figure out how to word things to make sure I'm getting the most impact out of my goals. So that is the first thing. And the second goal, you guys are the first to know, my friends. I have not made this public knowledge yet, but my goal in 2020 is to launch some sort of coaching or mentorship program where you and I will have opportunities to work together one-on-one or in a small, super exclusive group, so I can help you in my tough loving style that I like to do, help you reach your goals, whatever they may be. So that's coming. I've decided 2020 is the year it's happening. Fingers crossed. And then what are you most looking forward to in 2020? I don't know. I'm just looking forward to growing. I'm looking forward to a year that's not completely and utterly filled with chaos. I know you can't plan for that, but like, my husband's job's going well. We just moved. Like, we should just be here, and this should be our constant for a while. And so I'm hoping that that stays the case, in which case 2020 can just be a year where I can focus on myself. I can focus on my business. I can focus on my marriage. Like, I'm not trying to be selfish about it, but like, everything should hopefully stay equal so I can really embrace this new decade and be like, the 2020s is going to be my decade to like really come into myself and really create the best me I can be so I can turn back around and give my best self to the world. I know you used to have a cleaning lady come to your home. Are you considering hiring someone to help with household chores again? Yes, I'm considering it, but it's not happening immediately. Back in our condo, there was a short period of time where we had a cleaning lady come so I could work a little bit harder and not have to use all of my energy in order to keep the house clean. Now, we are living in a bigger house, which would stand to reason that we would get a cleaning lady for that house too, which is something I absolutely 100% want to do. However, I want to make sure that Diva and the Divine is flourishing enough and bringing me enough income where financially it makes sense. Our house is much larger now, and I have the added benefit of my husband is not traveling every single week for 4 or 5 days a week, which means he comes home and bless his soul, he is wonderful at helping me with the chores. He is absolutely wonderful at helping me clean. He does the deep cleaning. He does the heavy lifting. He really, really makes my life easy, even though I am the homemaker and it's my job to keep things and maintain the clean. He is not afraid to be like, all right, you cook dinner here, let me clean the kitchen for you. Like, he's absolutely wonderful. Even though he goes to work and works his tail off all day to bring in our income, he will still come home and help me. So for now, the balance is actually he and I are managing really, really well. But if Diva and the Divine happens to keep on going the way it's going and I've got a little extra income on my hand, I would absolutely consider hiring someone again as soon as possible, because it'd be really nice if we didn't have to worry about cleaning as often as we do. My biggest challenge in my weight loss is my family. They are not on board with losing weight and eating healthy. This is a huge stumbling block for me and my weight loss. How supportive is your husband on your weight loss journey? Does he help or maybe not so at times? Also, do you eat Quest protein chips? First, yes, I eat Quest protein chips and I love them. 2, Yes, my husband is absolutely 100% supportive. He and I are actually pretty much on the same diet. He wants to eat lean, he wants to eat healthy. He automatically kind of eats in the Weight Watchers freestyle type of eating where he eats a lot of 0-point foods, so he can maintain his weight really well and he's not overweight or anything. He works out several days a week. We go to Body Pump on the weekend. Like, he and I are on the same level. The only difference is his goal is just to remain fit and healthy and lean, and my goal is to drop a little bit of weight. But my ultimate goal is to get fit and healthy and lean. So we are completely 100% on the same playing field, which is tremendously helpful. Now, little secret, when I lost all of my weight before, I lived in a house with the rest of my family and none of them were on the weight loss bandwagon. And that was not easy, but I was so focused in on my goals that I just did it anyway. We had what everybody else had for dinner, and Brianna cooked her own dinner if she didn't want what was being served for dinner. And I just kind of did my own thing. Everybody else be darned. Like, they didn't bother me. They didn't try to sabotage me or anything like that. And sure, when we all went out as a family, I ordered stuff that I wanted, but 9 times out of 10, I was just on my own and doing my own thing anyway. So I always had the support of my family, even if they weren't taking the same actions, and I 100% have the support of my husband, and he and I do take the same actions. I know you're trying to eat the Fab 4 way recently. Do you think you would leave iTrack Bites and Weight Watchers in favor of just eating the Fab 4 way and no longer track points? I firmly believe that I'm somebody that always has to track something. I need to know where I'm at all times. I need to know if I'm going overboard or if I'm staying perfectly on plan. And as I have found in the way of Fab 4 eating, which I can get into a little bit later, but for those of you that are following me, I am following both the Fab 4 style of eating, but I'm tracking all of it on iTrack Bites. So the short answer is no. I don't see myself going anywhere, and I'm always going to be tracking something. But I could change in the future. I really have no way of knowing, but for now, absolutely, I'm tracking for life, my friends, tracking for life. I'm on Points Plus and headed towards my last 10 pounds to lose. Congratulations. I had read on a Facebook page that maintenance on Points Plus would be to up my daily points to 32 points a day. Is this correct? Be wary of what they say. Yes, the guideline says that when you hit your goal weight, you add 6 points plus. I'm talking in Points Plus, not Smart Points. I don't know what maintenance mode is for Smart Points. In Points Plus, you add 6 points to what your minimum was when you were losing. However, the second I did that, weight came back on. Literally the second I did that. So what that tells me is you have to do some trial and error and find out the number that works for you and your body. The unfortunate truth is you might only get to add 3 points to your day or 2 points to your day in order to maintain your weight on Points Plus. It's completely experimental. So the guideline is 6, but that isn't necessarily true for everybody. How did you get your mind in the right place to shed the weight? The first time, I'm not gonna lie to you, the first time when I really buckled down and did it, it was totally vain. I had just met this really awesome guy, and I had always been toying with losing weight, but never really buckling down, and I was like, you know what? I got this new guy, I need to impress him, I need to feel good about myself. I was heavy into the theater scene at the time. I'm like, Brianna, get your act together, and I did it. It was vain, but I did it. This time around, it's taking me a lot longer because, quite frankly, I'm very happy in my body. Yes, there are things I want to change. Yes, I want my body to get leaner and tighter and maybe a little bit smaller. It would be great. But at the same time, I'm still very confident in who I am. And I'm very healthy in the way that I'm fueling my body. So the mindset is there, but it's a lot harder because it's not coming from a negative space. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that, like, you have to ultimately think ahead to the future and be like, if I make this decision, if I go ahead and do this, what will my life actually be like? How much stronger will I be? How much more energy will I have? How freaking amazing will I feel in my body? What will that confidence do for me? What will that confidence do for my marriage? Hello. Can you imagine if you brought a whole brand new body confidence to your marriage? I think things would spark right back up, if you know what I'm saying. So ultimately, you have to think about what your life would be like if you succeeded. And then on the flip side, take a second and think about what your life would be like if you changed nothing. What if you let the pounds continue to creep on? What if you let yourself spiral even further down than you already are? What would happen to your life then? People will often end up finding their motivation out of 2 places. A positive outlook, a reward mindset, or fear. You have to figure out which one is going to trigger you and use that to your advantage. Someone tagged onto that question, how do you get the mindset to shed the weight and get into an exercise routine when you don't like to exercise? Here's what you do. You do it anyway. I don't care if you don't like to exercise. Get off the couch, go out the door, and do something. End of discussion. You don't have a choice. It's not a matter of liking it, although I promise you, once you start, you will start to like exercise. I can guarantee it. You will start to like exercise. But until you get to that point, you just gotta do it anyway. No excuses. Has anything changed with your eating, the food you buy, or anything WW related because of your move? No. No, the things that have changed is, no, I can't even say that the Fab 4 stuff has changed the stuff that I buy. No, everything is the same. If someone is thinking of starting a YouTube channel, how do you get started? You sit down in front of a camera, be it a phone, be it your webcam, whatever. You hit the record button, you record a video, and you put it up on YouTube. And boom, you have started a YouTube channel. Yes, I know it's a little bit more complicated than that, but really it's not. In order to get a YouTube channel started, you have to start YouTubing. End of discussion. So whatever your subject matter is, whatever, if you don't have content out there, you're not going to get views. You're not going to get subscribers. So you can plot and plan and get all the equipment you want, but all you need is your phone. That's all you need. And you can be a YouTuber too. Are there any courses that you took to prepare you? I didn't take anything to prepare me. I decided I wanted to be a YouTuber and I put videos out on YouTube and people watched them. That's literally what happened. I did recently take Erica Vieira's YouTuber boot camp. I can't remember what it's called, but I finally invested in that. But that was literally almost 20,000 subscribers in. I was this close. I was only a couple thousand subscribers away when I decided I wanted to up my game and invest in my channel in a way about learning how I can up my game in YouTube. But those first 10,000, 15,000 subscribers was all me and all just me doing the work. That's all it was. How did you meet your husband? My husband and I met online while he was living in South Florida and I was living in Chicago on a free dating website called OkCupid. And it just so happened that because that was before Tinder, OkCupid was kind of what people used to find the hookups because Tinder didn't exist yet. So day after day after day, I'd get a lot of private messages saying, hey, want to hook up? Hey, you want, like, one sentence stupid things. And then this boy slid into my private messages and wrote me a couple paragraphs, like, proving that he read my entire profile, was interested in some of the things I was interested in and whatnot. And so I decided to message him back, even though he was in Florida. I was like, you took the time. Let me at least drop you a note. Boom. That was it. It was all over. Free dating website. I know you sing at church. How can we hear you sing? I actually have multiple videos up of me singing. I know for sure there are at least 3. There's one called I Believe, where I sing a song sung by Natalie Grant around Christmas time, so that's on my channel. There is a vlog during which I do sit down at the piano and sing She Used to Be Mine from Waitress, and my most recent one is from our Christmas cruise last year where I was on The Voice of the Sea, which is like the Princess Cruises spoof of The Voice, the TV show, and I sang in the finals, My Heart Will Go On. Yes, I sang My Heart Will Go On a cruise ship. I knew what I was doing. So there are 3 videos up already. Depending on how things start going, potentially I'll sing more in the future. We'll see. At what point did your blog or channel actually start to take off? Was there a specific post or video? So what's interesting is you're told to kind of niche down, right? Which I have. I'm primarily weight loss content. But I have a handful of videos that have all done really well that are all from completely different genres. My blog took off when I did a review of the ballet flat Batiks, which are stupidly expensive, but hands down the best flats that I've ever worn in my life, and I have stupid feet because of CMT. So I reviewed them from the perspective of somebody with a disability who can't wear, who has a hard time wearing shoes, whatever, and that took off, and I ended up with quite a bit of commission from that for a while because affiliate links, whatever, and then Teeks got word of everything that was all the traction I was getting, so they did some stuff with me. It was really, really cool. So that for my blog was really what helped me take off. And then on YouTube, I'm trying to remember, there are a handful of videos from when we lived in Japan that regularly get traction. My videos about my IUD, my Mirena IUD, the birth control, have regular traction, but hands down the most popular video on my channel is when I got on here and told you the #1 reason why you weren't losing weight on Weight Watchers Freestyle. And I can almost guarantee that 80% of you, if not more, have found me because of that video. That video has close to or over 200,000 hits, by far my biggest video ever. And for whatever reason, it got you to hit the subscribe button, and now you keep coming back. Here's a question that has a long explanation. Are you ready? I got this question and I actually posted a reaction to it on social media because it infuriated me. Now, before I tell you the question, I will have you know that the person who asked it actually messaged me back and said she meant no offense. She was actually genuinely curious because what I do, which is being a homemaker, she wants to do as well, and she should have used a different word. But, and I totally told her, I'm like, I accept your apology, it's not a big deal, but I reacted that way because I know there are people that feel this way. And her question was, why don't you have a proper job? And it was the word proper that really got to me. And I sat there and I was like, ladies and gentlemen, being a homemaker, kids or not, is a proper job. Do you know how much money people who have proper jobs spend on cooks and meal kits and maids and cleaning services and babysitters and nannies and blah, 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 blah. I don't want to get into it, but it infuriated me because in my mind, someone was trying to make me feel less than for having my job be what was originally the traditional job. The man went to work, the woman stayed home and managed the house. It doesn't matter if I have children or not. The work that I do works for me. Cleaning, managing the home. I make sure birthday cards get sent out. I text my husband to remind him of birthdays and people he needs to reach out to on a daily basis. I make sure that my husband has dinners ready for him and lunches that he can take to work and leftovers that he can take on days that he's going to work late. I make sure that laundry is done. I make sure there are always groceries in the house. And yes, I am incredibly blessed in that my husband does help me with these things when he has the time, but there's never this expectation of him to do that. He just does it out of the goodness of his heart, and because he is a wonderful, wonderful man, he helps me out. But that is my job. Now, I also have a YouTube channel that is slowly and surely becoming much a bigger consumer of my time. I can't even think of the words right now. So I could very easily do this full time and completely neglect my job of being a homemaker, but the arrangement was I don't have to work if I'm a homemaker first. So what might happen? What if I hit 100,000 subscribers and I'm doing 40, 50, 60 hours a week? That's great. Then I'll be one of those people that also pays for extra meal kits and food delivery and maids and whatever. We will do that if I get to that point. But for now, I'm a homemaker first and a businesswoman second. And that is a proper job. And anybody who tries to tell me differently, I want to know what you do for work that makes you feel so entitled that you can bring me down. Because I firmly believe that any woman that is going to try to take me down because I'm a homemaker has a confidence issue in herself. And that's on you, boo. That ain't on me. Your opinion is not gonna get me down. And I actually had one person, of all the messages that I got on Instagram that day that I posted this and did a little explanation of, excuse me, who do you think you are? Where the person who asked the question apologized to me. I got one message out of the dozens of people agreeing with me, one message that was adamantly against the fact that she called me a lazy, unemployed wife. I am not a homemaker because I have no children. Because I have no children, I am not a homemaker. I am a lazy, unemployed wife. And while that's nice for you, you can go play with your planners and blah, 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 blah. I would rather do something that contributes to society. Quote, quote, not joking. So I was stunned. I was not hurt, but I was stunned by what this person said. So me being the snarky son of a gun that I am, I try to keep it cool. Most of the time I try and keep it real cool. And I like to think that I did keep it a little bit cool, but I asked her, I'm like, so what do you do? Because I would love to know what you do that makes you feel so validated in life that you can come at me and try and take me down. And instead of answering, this woman who would rather contribute to society blocked me. She chickened out, she blocked me because she knew she didn't have anything on me. And The reason that I brought up this question, and I told the person who asked it that I was going to still talk about it, is because it needs to be talked about, and this could be a whole nother video, and maybe it should be a whole nother video. But if you don't like the way I live my life, if you don't like that I'm traditional in living the lifestyle of a stay-at-home wife, even though I don't have children, you know where the unsubscribe button is. Bye, Felicia, because I don't have time for you. I'm here to make content for the people that accept me for who I am and appreciate my lifestyle, or at the very least support my lifestyle. You don't have to agree with it, but don't come at me because of it. Moving on. Would you consider running a Sept Bet game? Yes, and the person who asked this question made me do it. So we have a Sept Bet game set up and ready to go. Download the app called Sept Bet and you can join in. The buy-in is $40, and the way it works is as long as you make your goals are catered to your specific current steps. So my goals and your goals are gonna look completely different. You have to meet your goals, and as long as you do that, you get your money back. And if people start to fail, you get their money too. It's a really cool setup. So if you have an activity tracker of some kind and you want to join our Sept Bet, the game code is DIVADIVINE. We've already got a handful of people who have ponied up their money, myself included. I am paying to be in this game as well. And we can all get through the holiday season very, very actively together. It starts on November 11th and runs right up until December 22nd. Right before Christmas, so we stay active all holiday season long. Please join me, it'll be a lot of fun. Have you ever tried keto? No, and I don't plan on it. And quite frankly, so keto I feel like is just an extreme version of the way we're supposed to be eating. Keto focuses on basically 0 carbohydrates. Don't come at me if I'm wrong, this is just broad spectrum here. High fat, high-ish protein, low carb. No, it is not sustainable in my mind. However, something that kind of resembles keto, but puts things like fruit and vegetables and carbohydrates, high fiber back in. Oh, hello, that's the Fab4 way of eating, which I'm actually thriving on right now. So do I do keto? No, and I never will, because I like cookies and I like cake and I like things that have carbohydrates in them. But I think that the idea of a really, really, really laid back keto, also known as the Fab4, in my opinion, is the way to go. I will never do straight keto, ever, ever. And don't get me wrong, I know there are people that do it and love it. It's just not me. Are you homesick? Only for my church, really. And that's because we haven't found a place here, but like they've been posting stuff online and pictures of my friends and the great things they're doing. And I was like, I'm supposed to be a part of that. I really am. And it does make my heart sad. And because all of our friends that are associated, most of our friends are associated with that building as well. So like I'm seeing pictures from my friends and my friends' kids and everything. And I was like, oh, like it's Halloween. We should have taken Alice to the church Halloween party and blah, 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 blah. And so yeah, I'm homesick for my church and everything that that church represents for me. But in general, I'm fine here. I'm happy here. It's more difficult to see my family, but my family just came to visit and it was great, and now they're gone and it's fine. So I'm adjusting. I'm a little bit homesick, but only for specific things. But so I don't know. Yes-ish. When did you start Diva and the Divine? And I definitely forgot to look and see when I posted my first video, but I think I started Diva and the Divine in 2013 and kind of went on and off with Diva and the Divine for a while and then really buckled down probably in 2015, maybe. I started the brand Diva and the Divine right before we moved to North Carolina, and we moved to North Carolina in June of 2013. Have you found a new church yet? What are you looking for in a new church family? How do you know when you found one you like? No, we have not found a new church yet. We are looking for a place that God comes first. It's not about the church inwardly, it's about the church outwardly. The church is working to better the community. The church is working to grow God's kingdom and do God's work. I'm looking for a church that has people that aren't, oh, these are all of the Christian rules, and if you don't fit into our cookie cutter mold, then you don't fit in here. Nothing like that. We want people that are accepting, and most importantly, love God and act like they love God. They love Jesus and they live their life like you're supposed to when you love Jesus. I'm looking for a place that has an open place on the worship team so I can sing and I can worship in the way that I know how best. I'm told regularly that when I'm up there leading worship, I'm actually helping people worship more. And so that is one of my fortes, is being able to lead people to God through performing on the stage. We don't know what I can't say that I'm looking for, because if my pastor heard me say it, then he'd kill me. I cannot look for a church that is like the church I left behind. We're praying about it. We are trying different places and we're going to see where we feel most at home. And we just don't know yet, because we're trying some very polarizing things. We're trying the local mega church. We're trying a church that's very, very small, but a lot more comfortable. And we're still trying out different options. Trust me, when we find a new church home, you guys will know about it. How do you feel about energy drinks occasionally? Everything in moderation. I think if you have a dependency on them, you have a problem. I think you should not look to them for a constant source of energy. They have a lot of crap in them as well as energy. But every once in a while, it's fine. Go for it. You do you, boo. What is your dream vacation? All-inclusive resort at some beautiful, beautiful place where, I don't care if it's a cruise ship. It can be a cruise ship. It doesn't have to be a cruise ship. Beautiful, tropical, I can get my suntan on, excellent food, everything is included, massages, facials, romance time, fun time, all sorts of time, and just relaxation. Relaxation. That's all. But tropical. No specific place, just tropical. What is the Fab Four all about? The Fab Four is a way of eating that was coined by the nutritionist Kelly LeVeque in her book, Body Love. I will have it linked down below. I've done several videos on this already, and if I haven't already uploaded it, you will soon see my week of the Fab Four smoothie recap, where I will talk a little bit more about it. But look up that book, look up some of the videos I've done in the recent past. I talk about it a lot. It focuses on 4 key ingredients and making those ingredients comprise most of your meals: fat, fiber, protein, and grains. Notice how carbohydrates is not in there, but there is fiber in there. So we're talking things like vegetables and high fiber breads. The goal is to keep the blood sugar from spiking and doing all this goofy stuff that throws your hormones and your insulin and all that jazz out of whack. That is a very, very vague way of putting it, but it is a way that I'm really, really enjoying. So I highly recommend you pick up that book and learn about it for yourself. And this is my last question. It's a great question. If you didn't have CMT, would you and your husband have children? This is a great question, and it's a question that I can honestly say I have absolutely no idea. For those of you that don't know, I have CMT, Charcot-Marie-Tooth disease. It is a nerve disease that makes me a lot weaker than the normal human being, putting it very, very vaguely. I have a video all about life with CMT that you can go ahead and check that out. I'll link that up there and down there. And for those of you that also don't know, my husband and I are child-free by choice. We are not planning on having children. Yes, part of our reasoning behind that is because I have CMT, so we don't know what pregnancy would do to me. And raising a kid and like the physical demands of raising a kid would be very, very difficult. So if that went away, would we change our minds? And I honestly can't give you an answer because I don't know. Would we definitely put it back on the table? Potentially, but I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The CMT is not the only reason we chose not to have kids. We chose not to have kids because we don't want them. We don't want them. We really, don't get me wrong, we love kids. We love our friends' kids. We love our sisters and brothers' kids. We love our nieces and nephews. That's not the thing. We also just love not having them in our house. We love an evening where my husband can come home whenever he wants and it's quiet. We can sit and watch TV. We can have a couple of drinks. We can go out whenever we want. We can travel up and leave whenever we want. We aren't on any school schedules. We have no commitments to any small humans. It's just him and me and Gracie. And if we need to do something with Gracie, we either take her with us or we can board her for our vacation. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is, it's not just the CMT that made us not want to have kids. we decided we didn't want to have kids, and then we reasoned that the CMT was actually also an additional great reason to not have kids. But we just like the peace, the quiet, the cleanliness, all of it that comes with not having kids. We go and we hang out with kids. Alice was just here. We loved hanging out with our friends' kids from church because every single couple that we hung out with had small children. So we have nothing against that. But we were also very, very thrilled that we didn't have to bring any of them home with us. So there you go. I told you that was gonna be a long one. So again, like I did in my last long rambly video, give me a gold star down below if you made it all the way to the end. I salute you. I really hope I answered your question, and I really hope this helped you get to know me just a little bit better. And now that you know me a little bit better, if you're not already a part of the Diva and the Divine community, I would love to have you join us. Hit that little red button down there, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and boom, you are a member of our community. We welcome everybody here. Thank you guys for getting me to the 20K mark. You are absolutely remarkable, and I truly thank every single one of you for helping me get this far. Let's keep it going, team. I love developing and growing this community. The bigger Diva and the Divine gets, the bigger our community gets, which means we all have a community of people that we can depend on, which is just wonderful. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you learned a little something. If you have a question for me, you can either comment below with it, shoot me a message, or wait until I put out my next plea for a Q&A video if you want to hear the answer in a video. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.